What is up guys, and welcome to my latest video here on SP Vids. Today, as you can see, I have the Sonicware LOFI-12 XT on the table, and I've really been getting back into this device this week, so I wanted to do some content about it. This is a great little unit. It's so powerful, it's so portable, and the workflow is incredibly simple. I really like it, and in this video, I wanted to put some more information out there about it, so I've decided to do 10 interesting things about this device. Hopefully it just gives you a better understanding of what it can do, what it's about, and I know for a fact there's people still out there looking at purchasing this. I've seen your comments on my Instagram profile and I've seen your comments here on YouTube as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to share some more information about this and hopefully give you a clearer picture of what it can do. Just before I start guys, I'd really appreciate it if you could check out the links in the description, especially spvids.com. The main way I'm funded to make these videos is through the Beat Pack sales on there. So if you could check out those, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, there's loads of other ways in the description that you can support what I'm doing here. Right, so let's get into the first point. This is a great little feature. You can swap samples while a pattern is playing seamlessly, and you can choose from the pool of samples that you've already got loaded in your project, or you can even go into your SD card, browse samples while a pattern is still playing, import them, and it will replace the sounds. So you can find the right sounds very easily for the particular pattern that you're trying to put together. So I've got this example here, nothing too fancy. Okay, it's just some crappy little jazz thing, nothing to write home about. So I'm going to go ahead and change this snare sound here. You can hear that playing along in the pattern. So I'll press play on the pattern, and then while I'm in SND, I'm going to use the A dial here. I'm going to press this down, and it's going to take me into the browse area. And I'll go to browse, and I'll select pool. And I'll go into my drum packs here. Let's go to Lo-Fi Drums Volume 6. This is my most recent pack. We'll find a snare. And you can preview this as well if you want. Let's just say we want that one. Press OK. We'll load the selected file. So you can see there, that seamlessly lets you do it while the pattern is playing. Now that we've got a sample pool here, you can be inside the samples that are loaded into the project and just seamlessly browse between those as well. So let's try some different snare sounds now that we've got them loaded in. That's really easy to do, and it just makes finding the right sounds very simple. Okay, my next point, this is quite an interesting one. The back of the unit has a tripod mount. So your imagination can go wild with this really. Think of anywhere that you can mount this. If you've got a tripod mount available, then you're going to be able to use it. You could just stick it on a camera tripod and use it like that. I've got some wall mounted tripods here in my studio so you could see it. I could even mount it to that, which is pretty crazy. It kind of makes my desk area look like something from Star Trek or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty handy. So you don't have to always have it in the down position like this. If you have access to tripods or something with a tripod mount on it, then you can easily attach it. I think that's quite a novel thing. I've never really seen that on a sampler before. And for me, someone that's into photography and has quite a lot of photography gear, obviously for YouTube as well, I've got quite a few places I can mount this. So I thought that was something worth sharing as well. Quite a unique feature. It's got a tripod mount on the back of this device. Okay, my next point, and I think I take this for granted because I'm in the sort of portable beat making scene, but this device can run on AA batteries. There's quite a few in the market that can do this. Some have built-in batteries as well. I know there's a big debate over what people prefer. Built-in ones, you can't service them. AA batteries, they can be expensive unless you get rechargeable ones. This can run on 6 AA batteries, and that gives you up to about 4 hours playtime. So I think that's almost double what you get on the SP404 Mark II. So a pretty lengthy time that you can just pop batteries in this and go out wherever you want and perform and make beats. It's already very portable. You can see it's a tiny little device, but the fact that you can just slip some batteries into it and take it out in your bag with you with a pair of headphones, I think that's really cool. So yeah, I think I take it for granted that things can run off batteries, but for people that aren't familiar with these devices, it may come as a bit of a surprise that yeah, you can just stick 6 batteries in this and you're off and you can power it wherever the hell you want. Okay, point number 4, which I want to tell you about, is that when you chop samples on this device, you can save the chops to that sample. So whenever you load them in future, it will have the sample chops ready to go. So I've got this sample here, and if I go into SND, you can see that the voice on mine is set to slice. If I go to the slices, you can see all my slices are here, and all you have to do this is press and hold function and press OK, And you can see there's a pop-up window that comes up and it says save to this sample. Basically, this is asking you, do you want to save those slices to that sample? You press yes. And then at any point, when you pull that sample out of the pool, it will have those chops saved on it for future reference. So if you wanted to use it again for another project, if you wanted to have a different go at the same sample, but try some different chops, you could start a whole new project and just pull it in. I think it's such a handy feature that the data of that can be saved to a specific sample, and the fact that it's so easy and quick to do as well. Literally, that was it. I just did it again. So yeah, that's another little feature which I thought was worth sharing. Okay, my next point about this device is that switching between patterns is very, very simple and easy to do. Now, I know a lot of samplers can do this, but I just think it's important to get these points out about this device, just so you know that it is capable of this and it's very, very easy to do. So you can see here, we actually have a dedicated button to the pattern area. We press that, and I've got 3 different patterns here. You can see I've got main, and then I've got no drums, I think that's supposed to be, and watt, that's the same loop, but with a watt sample over the top of a Vox sample. So if I choose main, for example, and I press play, I can go into the pattern mode now and choose no drums. I will press OK, and it will cue that pattern.
Just be quiet and think.
So you can see there, it's very, very easy to change between patterns. It's very easy to jam the ideas that you've got down. That's probably one of my favorite beats that I've made on this device so far. I really like that one. And interesting fact about that, this Vox sample, which I've got,
Just be quiet and think.
that's actually me, and I recorded that using the internal mic, pitched it down a bit, added some reverb. Sounds like an old film sample, I think. So yeah, that's got that going for it as well, the built-in mic. That's a little bonus point. So yeah, back to patterns. Very easy to do, very easy to save them, function and pattern to save them. You do have to be a little bit careful with that, because it's really easy to accidentally save over your patterns when you're trying to switch between them, because the key combinations are so similar. But yeah, pattern switching on this and making new patterns is really, really easy to do. And you have hundreds of slots to choose from to save patterns to. It's actually a bit insane how many you've got. I think we've got 128 different sample slots for patterns. You can browse to the different pages using these buttons below, you can see. Super fun stuff, and I really like that. I just wanted to make sure that people knew that was possible. Okay, the next thing that's quite interesting about this is you can kind of ping-pong delay with this device, and I quite like that effect. I use it a lot in Ableton, but the fact that we've got it on here as well is really nice. So I've got this sample here. You should be able to hear that that's kind of ping-ponging left to right. And all I had to do for this one is go into the send. So you have 2 sends on this device. I'll talk more about the effects in another point in a little while. So on the delay, I just go to my options here. You can see there's width. Now, the more width or the less width you put on it, the more it's kind of going to throw it left to right. And I think that's really, really nice. With it being one of my favorite effects to use on vocal stabs like this, I was just messing around with the delay the other day and discovered that that's what this particular parameter did. So I was pretty happy to find that. So if we just turn it all the way down and I press it again, you can hear it's just kind of in the center. Let's turn this up. You should be able to hear that really panning left and right. So yeah, another cool little feature that I just wanted to share. I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, the next little thing now, LOFI-12, 12-bit sounds, retro sounds, the retro aesthetic. That's what this device is kind of all about. And it's really easy to be able to turn things 12-bit. There's actually just a specific function on each individual sample which allows you to choose a 12-bit option. So let's go to a snare, for example. If I go to the SND and press that twice to get to this screen, you can see here I've got 12-bit on for this particular sample. All you have to do to switch it on and off is use the C dial. So there you go, off, on. Very subtle on drum sounds. But I've got that on for all my drum sounds. And yeah, I've got it on for these vocal samples as well.
Just be quiet and think.
So the option is there to just add some lo-fi grittiness with the switch of a dial. So every track here, you can have up to 8 tracks with 8 different samples on them. You can apply that to those samples if you want to. And then if you don't like the sound of it, you can just switch it off really, really easy. So I think that's great. It's basically just a very, very simple option to add some more grit and more dirt to your beats. And then if you decide a little later down the line that you don't like it, like I say, it's just really easy to remove it. So the 12-bit option's always there for every sample across the 8 tracks. I think that was something definitely worth mentioning. Okay, moving on to more about the effects. Now, I really, really like this about this device. I think I will go out as far as to say this is probably one of my favorite features of it. It's the fact that you can apply an effect to every individual track, and you can have up to 11 individual effects in total. So you can have 1 per track, 1 to 8, 1 on each one, and they can all be different. And then there's a reverb and a delay send. So you can send each of these tracks to those if you want to. You can hear that I've got it sent on this one. What? I'm sending delay and reverb on that particular sample, you can see here. And then there's a master effects as well. You go into the mix and you choose effects here. You can see I've got mine set to compressor, and you can change that to a filter as well if you want to. So yeah, this is just so powerful that I can go into each individual track. Let's say we'll take the snare. I'm going to go to EFX, there's a dedicated button for it. We go into this menu and we can choose from all these effects. So I've got Crusher on at the moment. I'll take you through all these just to show you what they are. Chorus, flanger, phaser, a delay basically, vibrato, auto wah, tremolo, ring mod, detune, overdrive, crusher, low and high EQ, low pass filter, high pass filter. Not sure what BPF is. It's a pass filter, but I don't know what the B stands for on that one, unfortunately. Isolator, tilt filter, vinyl noise, wow and flutter, S maximizer, stomp compression, rack compression. So there's a bunch of effects to choose from there that you can apply to each of the individual samples. You can play with all the parameters, obviously, and you can do that on a per track basis. And then, like I mentioned, you've got your 2 sends here, delay and reverb, and you've got that master effects in mix as well. So up to 11 different effects. I think the flow of this is just better than the SP404 Mark II in terms of, you don't really need to do that much resampling because you get to apply it to each individual track. I really like this kind of track layout and the fact that you can do things to individual ones. I think the way it's been set up is just really, really nice. So yeah, that's basically how the effects work. In terms of effects, it makes for a very, very powerful result. And you can really have some fun with that too. Okay, getting near the end now. One of my last points, I've not actually tried this yet, but there is access to a tape recording facility on this device. It's built in. It can do continuous recording, so you could just put it on and just leave it recording for as long as you want, and that's going to last for about 3 hours. The great thing about this as well is recording quality can be selected from 6 levels, so you can go from a lo-fi recording quality of a micro cassette tape to sort of high quality recording at 48 kilohertz 16-bit, the same recording quality as that according to the manual. So yeah, you can just go into here, there you go, you've got your cassette mode, you can change this with A, DAT, Type 2, Type 1, Type 1 old. There's loads of different settings in there. You can enable it, you can monitor it. So if you were doing a performance, you could just go ahead and record that. If you were doing a live set, if you did a live set on this and it was under 3 hours, you could record the whole thing. And then maybe if you'd filmed it with a camera, you could then overdub it over the top using that file. I'm not really sure where it saves it. I'm pretty sure it probably just saves it to the SD card. I'd have to figure that out. I want to actually do a separate video about this and get a little bit more in depth with it. But the fact that that's there, I think that's really, really cool. And I'm looking forward to trying those different tape settings. I imagine it would also be good just for processing samples through that as well. So I really need to look into this area a bit more. But yeah, I wanted to point that out that this is here because I think it's quite a unique feature and you don't really see too many samplers with that option, especially with the effects as well and the fact that you can go up to 3 hours. I think that's really cool. So yeah, I'll do that in a future video. If you want to see that, please let me know in the comments. I think that feature is well worth mentioning. Okay, the last feature that I want to mention, it's not one for the SP heads, unfortunately, because it might make you a little bit upset, but this device does have sidechain compression and it's something we've really, really wanted on the SP404 Mark II ever since its release. I still can't believe we don't have it, to be honest. It's just really, really ridiculous. It would be such a great addition to the SP404 Mark II. But yeah, on the LOFI-12 XT, we have it. So we can go to our mix and then we go to the master effects. You can see here, when you set the master effects as the compressor, we can go into options and then you have your sidechain source and your sidechain target. So my source, you can see here, is track 1, which is my kick, and then I've set my target to track 4, that is the sample chops. So my sample chops are going to sidechain against my kick to give it that pumping sound. I've already set it all up on this particular project, which was the beat I showed you before. But yeah, definitely worth mentioning that this device can do sidechain compression, and it's relatively easy to set up as well. I hope one day we get that on the SP404 Mark II, and sooner rather than later. So that's it for this one, guys. That was 10 things about this device which I think are pretty interesting. Some of them you may have known already, others maybe not. I hope it gives you more of an understanding of what this device can do. And yeah, like I say, I've been having a lot of fun with this. I think it's a great device. It's really powerful for its size, and I think I'll be on this for a good couple of weeks, having a lot of fun and making some beats. Let me know if you've got one of these devices already, or whether you're thinking of purchasing one. I'd be interested to hear that. But apart from that, guys, I will see you again in another video very, very soon.